arts, lifestyle. SNS Online.
Hello there, SNS Freakos. Well to time with our interview with Howlround's Robin the Fog, available separately on the SNS Online SoundCloud page. We've come to Iklectik at the old Paradise Yard in Waterloo, here to discover the mystery, the delights, and indeed the euphoria that is Howlround, and all the enigmatic and wonderful contemporaries based under the same roof for a series of spellbinding performances. Firstly, it's time to find that pesky Fog and his co-conspirator Chris for a warm-up chat before tonight's gig.
We've untangled all the loops, which took ages, and we've plugged all the bits in, and everything started up and started moving when we pressed play, didn't it? Mm-hmm. So everything powered up when we plugged it in. Nothing's got tangled yet, although give it time. And it stopped raining.
So a live version of Howlround is obviously quite different from the studio. It looks quite sort of frenetic and chaotic, but is that the idea, or is there suddenly any streamline to the focus to the performance tonight?
Well, I think it's basically I always say when it goes wrong, that's part of the performance, and it might not actually be wrong at all. It might just be another version of right that you hadn't thought about. So by sort of allowing a bit of chaos in, and a bit of a chance to improvise, I think that's a nice, it sort of opens up, because in the studio, the studio and the live performances aren't a million miles apart, because it's all about manipulating tape. But with this, there's a sort of element of unpredictability to it, which can open up sort of interesting juxtapositions and scenarios and things.
But you're obviously sharing the limelight with some other sort of very esteemed colleagues. Where did you get to meet them?
It's quite a boring story, actually.
Okay, right. Let's move to you.
Steve sent me an email saying, "Do you want to do a project together?" And I said, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea."
That's awesome. Okay. So, Chris, you're Howlround Mark II, The Revenge.
No, I am the person that, when Robin first put out the very first Howlround record, I said to him, "I've got a brilliant idea how we can do this live." And Robin wrote back and said, "Don't be ridiculous. There's no way this will work."
You idiot.
Yeah, 3 years later, here we are playing concerts. And I've been away working in the Middle East for a couple of years. So Robin's been doing... At first we shared files, and then Robin has been doing quite a few gigs on his own and stuff. But it's nicer to... I like sharing the duty, so to speak.
But it seems to be quite a very sort of expansive type of involved thing, but quite solitary. So to have somebody else involved in something like this must be, very caring and sharing.
Well, it makes it easier to improvise when we do live.
Absolutely.
We can work with loops, and it can be, as you were saying, more chaotic, and it can be more of the material can move quicker in a performance. When Robin does it on his own, it obviously can't run up and down the stage putting new loops on, and so it's more long form.
I guess.
Yeah, it's a more structured piece.
Okay.
Whereas I think it's a lot easier with two people, because on the one hand you can set up a lot more and you can work together a lot more to make, like you say, move quickly. But also we kind of we sort of disagree in a kind of harmonious way, don't we? We sort of it's like, that's it, sort of harmoniously disagreeing. So we'd sort of do things that maybe the other one goes, "Oh no, that's not what I wanted," but then you go, "Actually, yeah, that's quite good." So that kind of, I suppose it's like a sort of tension, isn't it? And that creates sort of some interesting,
How would you sort of sum up Howlround live compared to in the studio?
In the studio, we tend to let things loop is probably the better word, for a longer time, and see how the different elements slip in and out of time together. So you might record something for like 10 minutes, which is barely changing, but you're in the studio, so you're just generating material. Live, we're moving a lot faster, and you're aware there's an audience, so you can't expect them to be listening for these microscopic changes in sound. So you kind of get... So we have this kind of theatre we've developed where either whisper to Robin or sort of tap on a tape, or Robin just goes, right, I've had enough of this loop, and
I completely ignore what you're saying. Go, I'll have that one, which has happened a couple of times by mistake.
Guys, good luck tonight. I'm looking forward to this live performance of Howlround.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Okay, Pascal, you're involved in this as well. How did it all start for you?
Well, it started by me meeting Edward, who ran Iklectik a few months ago, and then at some point during the summer we discussed the possibility of doing a longer event since I played there back in May. And then he said I could have this venue for a couple of days and invite whoever I wanted to invite, really.
That sounds amazing. Have your own party.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I've been a big fan of Howlround for many years. And actually I found out that my friend Steve, who runs the label Psychotrop, was doing something with Howlround, like records together. And then I thought, okay, that's a very good opportunity to do everything together. So that's how it came about for today.
So do you create your own music yourself, or you just appreciate it?
No, I do create it myself, yeah. And I like old machines and like disused, like old technologies, and then try to contextualize that like in a new kind of framework, if you wish, yeah.
So will you be creating new music tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've prepared like a few loops and things like that, but everything is going to be processed live in the moment. Also, listening to the room is very important. And then how far you can push everything, like the sound within the room, just to feel it as it should be felt.
Well, the audience have arrived, so it's time for them to be mesmerised by the film A Creak in Time, with music played live by Howlround. I must say that went extremely well, celebrating both the macro and micro with images including landscapes, planets, stars, as well as extreme close-ups of everyday objects. Time to grab a drink now, and a word with the director himself, Steve McInerney. So Steve, we've just seen the film, absolutely intriguing, a microscopic view of reality or other reality, whatever. Talk us through it. I had a very good reception here.
Okay, yeah, it was shot and over the course of about 2 years, which has been a collaboration with Howlround, and we basically got together. We met through mutual friends, and we just chatted about our interests and what inspired us creatively, musically, filmically, and it all came down to the cosmos and the intrinsic connection between the macro and the micro. And it's been quite a journey, this whole process, because it has been a long time that we've been making this, and it's been unfolding in a natural way.
I mean, what I loved about it was the fusion between the music and the images, and sometimes it was more abstract, and other times they were in such beautiful synchronicity, if that's the right word, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the music is the driving force behind this. That is the inspiration to the film.
So, Robin, let's talk about your link with this film. Very, very important one.
Yeah,
50%, I would say.
The thing that makes me very happy about this film is that, the music was made with the ideas we discussed. The thing we loved was this film called Power of 10, which is basically starts off a meter wide and then travels 14 billion light years and then zooms back in again into the nucleus of a cell, nucleus of an atom in a guy's hand or something like that.
Keeps going further and further.
Yeah, it's all. So we sort of talked about that and about how a lot of the sounds are very tiny sounds, sort of amplified up to sort of almost sound kind of glacial and sort of, So yeah, I mean, so the footage I think matches that idea of changing scale and that sort of glacial time and evolution.
Oh, completely.
And also, it's all about sort of tiny objects sort of taking on this kind of big sort of significance when you sort of zoom in close enough and look at them. And so, on the one hand, you've got these huge distances that we're playing with, and on the other hand, you've got like tiny sort of
granular,
tiny life forms.
When you get down to the granular level, there's so much detail and life there that evolves and emerges, and that's how all the sound was created. It all came from creaks, from objects, and then when you zoom right in there's infinite possibilities.
Well, I must also say, what a fantastic album launch for your album.
Yeah, not bad at all, eh?
The ultimate video,
Yeah, no, well, we're treating it very much as an audio-visual project. So the vinyl is the sort of object, but you don't just get the LP. It's very important that people realize you get the film as well.
It comes with a link in the inner sleeve. There's a link there where you can stream the film in HD online, and you also get a digital album download in your choice of MP3 or WAV 24-bit.
Well, you chaps are very, very clever, I tell you.
You can watch the film over and over again, incidentally. It's yours to watch whenever you like. Yeah. It's not like just a one-off. I think it's so hard working with audio visual to make the two sync, and that's what I love about this. I think they work really well together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing I always say is, when I first met Steve, he got it, and I always describe people when they get it, you're like, yeah, let's work together, because you get it, you understand what this is about.
Let's make showbiz babies, basically.
I don't know if I'd put it quite that way, Nick, but.
But I would, of course. Yeah.
You would indeed, yes. Indeed, let's make showbiz big. I think let's rock that wouldn't work either, really.
Anyway.
Let's glacially evolve. There you go.
And on that note, I'm going to go around to chat to all your esteemed fans and see what they got to say.
Nick. Thank you for coming.
These guys have an incredible cult following. I'll just have to say that. There's a lot of interest around these guys, including myself, and that's why I'm here.
And a lot of bemusement as well, but
there's always a bit of that.
Both are valid. I like it when people are bemused, because it means if they don't quite get it, it often means they'll come back.
And they'll think about it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. Isn't it weird?
And dream about it and have nightmares about it, possibly. What have you created, you guys?
Isn't it weird, though? It's music you're not sure about that you tend to come back to. If you like something, you go, I liked it. But if you go, I don't know what I thought, that's the record you come back to, I think.
Oh, there we go. On that note,
Nick.
Beautiful.
Would you like a Cronenberg?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll get you one.
And while Robin, bless his cotton socks, gets me a Cronenberg, although we must add that other lagers tasting a piss are also available, I went on the hunt for some fresh meat. Vox Pops, you understand. So who are you and why are you here tonight?
My name's Jeannie. I'm Steve's wife.
Oh, right, so you're the director's wife, yeah?
Yeah, front row seats.
Fantastic. So tell me about the film. Tell me about your interpretations of the images and the music by Robin the Fog.
I mean, well, it's life, isn't it? It's a life-based film about sort of the microscopic level, all different strands and forms. I think there is a narrative, but in my interpretation, I think you can look at this any way you want to and see it as a beautiful experiment with colour and life as we don't know it, all that doesn't exist. So yeah,
all that we don't see.
Exactly, all that does exist that we don't see. Sorry, that's what I sort of mean. And very beautiful to see film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just when you see those soft colours, you realise, gosh, you haven't looked at something like that beautiful in a long time, because the colours are really just very warming on the eye to see. So for me, it was just enjoyable from
And
start.
the fusion of that wonderful music with the images were at one point they just were in perfect synchronicity, weren't they?
Absolutely otherworldly, yeah.
Hello, my name is Jeff Ardron. I run a mastering and recording business, St. Austral Sound, and I partner here with Edouard at Iklectik to record many of the experimental and improv music concerts.
So you've seen quite a lot of action here over time.
Oh, absolutely. I've been recording here for about a year, and we have about 200 different sessions.
And so what's your take on the Howlround?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, I have a soft place in my heart for electronic music. I did a lot of it when I was younger. It's a lot of fun to mix, and also you can mix in the room and the audience and the direct inputs, and it kind of makes a whole new composition. So I really like that.
And of course, you've got an amazing space here for the acoustics. So, I'm trying to describe it for the listeners. A very wide ceiling, wooden structure.
That's right. It's a tall gabled ceiling that gives a nice medium-sized reverb. Everything sounds good in here. I haven't heard a type of music that doesn't sound good in this room.
Mr. DJ, who are you, sir?
Hi, my name is Andrej Hudi, and I'm an acquaintance of Pascal.
You have a fantastic environment to do that in terms of this big sort of, how would you describe this room? A big sort of old wooden building with high ceilings and an arch, which is obviously adding a lot of echo to it. Reverb.
Yeah, it's like a small aquarium.
A small aquarium, I love it. So I've just met a lovely lady who's at the door taking tickets, etc. And you are?
Hi, I'm Blanca Regina.
Nice to meet you. Now, what did you think of the film and indeed the music of Howlround?
So I really like the work of Steve. The music was fantastic, and I really love the organic images, the creation of the universes through images and very beautiful colors.
Absolutely. So have you been to gigs like this before?
Yeah, I really follow up all this audiovisual performance scene, and I myself am a performer and an artist.
You're an artist as well. So what sort of stuff do you do?
I'm an artist, a teacher, and a curator. I do bits and bobs.
Okay, bits and bobs.
Yeah, around free improvisation mainly.
So you're a perfect person to be here tonight to appreciate this.
Yeah, this is a fantastic venue in the heart of London. It's called Iklectik, and there is very nice things happening around here, and this gig is really a one-off thing, a unique performance.
Hello, who are you and where do you come from? No, why are you here tonight?
Oh, hi, I'm Gabrielle Edvey, and I have been lucky enough to work with Steve McInerney quite a lot, and in doing so I've worked with Digital Snowball, and I've worked with Pascal, and sort of inadvertently with Howlround as well. So, and so I'm here to support everybody.
So what did you think of the film and the music?
Fabulous. Absolutely. This is the first time I've gotten to see it, although I was present for some of its inception, and but this is the first time I've gotten to see it finished, and it's beautiful. It absolutely worked brilliantly. Yeah.
Excellent. And you're a fan of Howlround as well, because obviously this show is about Howlround.
Of course. A big Howlround fan, and it's really wonderful to get to see them perform tonight on top of everything as well.
What we really hope is that people just become more aware that there's some great music, some really awesome experimental, edgy stuff happening right here in Iklectik, and South London's best kept secret.
Well, I absolutely, because it took me a while to actually find this place, and it's like an oasis in the middle of all these scary tunnels and Waterloo Bridge and all the rest of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a very safe neighborhood, but it is tucked away in a corner. I lived in Berlin before this, and when I came here in the summer about a year ago, I thought, oh, this reminds me of Berlin. It's a little bit of that sort of more casual atmosphere that's really hard to find in London. But as I say, it reminds me a little bit of Berlin and the scene there.
Well, it's time for us to bow out for now, as other great radiophonic acts fill the space that is Iklectik. We suggest you Google both Iklectik in Waterloo and Howlround to find out more. You've been listening to SNS Online's Bitesized. I'm Nick Randell. Goodbye.